favorite.
All right, so quick
No.
intros. Hi everyone. It's your friendly neighborhood, not Caleb moderator, Ryan. And of course, in the main moderator chair today, we have Jess,
Yay.
and Don Julio, 1942, and we have Bad Opinion Man, Lucius. Go ahead, do your thing.
What's up?
Lucius.
Yeah, so off the top, how do y'all feel about the movie? Off top.
Like, I wanted to see what he had to say when I said that about Thor.
Oh. Yeah, what you have to say about that?
No. I meant when he said Doctor Strange was his favorite hero or something like that.
Or he's Doctor Strange.
I said he was my favorite hero until he got that third eye. Now I don't mess with him.
Oh, why? Why the third eye got you off kilter with it?
It's stupid. I feel like it more like terrorizes people more than it looks like a hero type thing.
Yo, Lucius is discriminatory. We apologize to anyone with third eyes open out there.
Yeah. if you're aligning your chakras with crystals and all that stuff to open your third eye, sorry y'all.
We apologize. No, I think this movie, I think it was a great movie. I think I have a lot of notes. So I'm gonna pass the ball.
Oh wow. Lucius, how'd you feel about the movie? Just raw, like tell us how you feel about it.
It was good. I liked it. Saw it opening night, whatever, because I'm a real Marvel fan.
Oh, hey.
And then I went in, so like, not gonna lie, this movie was one of those movies I did not find myself like wanting to see. Like, out of all Marvel movies, I was always like, oh, I'm so ready to see this one. When I saw previews to this, I was just like, this kind of just looks like a ripoff of Ragnarok because they needed a final Thor movie. So I wasn't really going into this movie like, oh, I want to see it. I actually saw it and I enjoyed it. I still don't know where the storyline fits in this, where it can lead to, and where it came from. Because like, they just pulled Gore the God Butcher out of nowhere. Like he was like not even hinted in any other movies. He just randomly showed up. So that's why I thought this movie was going to be like an offsetting movie, but it turned out to be pretty good.
Okay,
you can appreciate that. I mean, it was and I would say this, the teaser and the trailer are the highest viewed, trailers I think in Marvel history. But so it was a lot of hype going into it. But I think we all thought it was going to be a little bit more connected to the wider universe, and I think maybe that very first scene or the opening scenes probably furthered. No, that's not true. I think the introduction of the gods and the whole concept of there being more gods. No, what are we talking about? I'm thinking about it. I'm like, wait, but then you have the sword, right? The sword, right, which like is connected to the symbiotes, which connected to Spider-Man and the Eternals, and the sword they got on there. Then you got the whole concept of the gods, which is gonna take you so much further. Right. And you got the whole Guardians who are out there, happy that they don't have Thor and those goats.
Oh my! Listen, the goats were killing me the whole movie.
Same.
Whole movie. Every time they came in with that, like I was dying laughing every time. It don't matter. Like they pulled up and oh my god!
No, when they crash landed
in that planet,
city.
And it like I loved it because it was so fitting of goats, because like you're crashing into like this rocky ass like planet, right? So like goats are the goat at fucking mountains and like climbing up that shit. So them crashing into that like the whole like planet, like that shit was so funny to me. And I loved how they zoomed in the sound of their like effects like coming into every scene.
So into the notes, the movie finally answers some long-awaited questions, like where's Lady Sif and what happened to Jane. I know no one really likes that Dark World movie, so we didn't really see Lady Sif, and people may be like, "What? Who is that?" But She was an important character once upon a time in the early MCU. Jane, I guess to an extent. I think that this movie really just kind of furthered, like Lucius said, furthered Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Like
Continuation.
like a perfect continuation. Like you
Yeah.
couldn't really see this movie without Ragnarok. Like you're gonna be so confused.
And almost a remix of Ragnarok, you know, like just with characters replaced.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean you couldn't get to it without it.
They're starting a new trilogy for Thor. Like they're kind of just ignoring Thor 1, Thor 2. Like we know those movies exist, but now I just feel like Ragnarok, Love and Thunder, and I believe I heard there's a 5th Thor movie coming out. I feel like that's like this is his like actual trilogy. Like this is what he was supposed to be like destined to, I guess.
Well, clearly we see with that mid-credit scene, and that's what I was gonna say. My next point was there's more world building.
Yep.
You had Zeus, you had the gods. First off, they made Zeus really nasty, and I appreciate that.
Man, I loved that. I loved it. I thought that it was on brand. Like
the Greeks, you know, ancient Greeks.
Him coming off the top with like, oh, you're not invited to the orgy, or like we're having this orgy tonight. Like I felt like that really embodied like everything that you really don't hear about the Greeks, but you kind of like hear about it if you dig deep enough. But that's not like something they're like, hey, the Greeks were some freaks, you know, like it's
No, I agree.
But
why did you like that, Lucius?
Why didn't I?
Yeah, it was an accurate portrayal.
I don't know. Like I just like the whole scene's dope. It's just like when Zeus, like just the whole like character of him, I didn't really enjoy. I didn't find him funny. I didn't find him interesting.
How would you envision Zeus? I mean, that's a question for both of y'all. Like, how would y'all envision Zeus even if this was a Zeus that you felt fit into the movie, Ryan? But like, how would you envision Zeus in this setting?
I thought it was perfect only because of how you have the juxtaposition, right? You got Thor introduce him like, yo, this is my hero. I based everything, and then we literally see him like do that like super dramatic entrance where he like catches his you know, and then we're like, oh, that's what Thor does. Oh yeah, you know what I mean? And then for him to just like immediately become like a nasty man, we were like, oh, he's a politician. He's like a nasty politician.
Yeah.
So I appreciated it.
I kind of see it as in like if Thor said he looked up to him and stuff, I wanted to see what he looked up to. So if Zeus was like some crazy powerhouse god, I would be like, oh, Zeus is dope. But then Thor has to pretty much like live up to his expectation because that's his favorite like person, and Thor overpowers him with when he takes the bow and stuff. Like that would have been dope. He's like, oh, this is the guy I really looked up to, but I just defeated him.
Oh, so you'd have liked to have seen like a battle between them, like a true battle of like, okay, battle of the gods, like who's the bigger badass?
Yeah, like I looked up to this dude, and now let's see if I can prove myself that I'm better.
Okay, I see that. Like I completely understand that. What I enjoyed the most about Zeus is that they didn't give you that, because I feel like that would have been like the stereotypical, like I'm going against like the head boss, like someone that I look up to, and you know, like he's the icon, like he's that dude. And then you meet him. That's why I love whenever he told the kids, like, you know, they always say like don't meet your idols or whatever. Like I love how they
like
tied
the irony.
Yeah, like I love how they tied all that stuff in, because it's just like I feel like you meet a character like Zeus, because I can say going in whenever they were like Zeus, I was like, oh my god, this nigga's about to be crazy. And then I was like, Russell Crowe.
Yep.
I was like, Russell Crowe, okay. I was like, this can go like a couple of different ways, just because, you know, Russell Crowe does have some range. So I'm like, okay, this can go real evil, sadistic. This can go like, you know, a more I'm related to the character, whatever. So I felt like them having that, oh, I'm not like this. I am a powerful god, but I'm not really displaying that in this scene. Like I'm kind of letting the people down that look up to me as a god, which was the whole like kind of feel of the movie. You see that at the beginning of the movie with Christian Bale, and like him being so disappointed by his god, like the god that he looked up to the point to where he became like this evil being. And then you see Thor, like not in such an extreme way, but still an extreme way because he was able to take like his weapon and everything. But you see that same like kind of air in that scene of him being like, oh, I'm meeting my idol, but you're not living up to what I've praised all this time.
And I appreciated that. I think that the early kind of issues with the early Thor movies was that it was too self-serious. Like he took things too serious and everything was very predictable. It was like, oh, he's so worthy. He's trying to fight to be worthy for his father. And I think that now you get rid of all of that. You know, they got rid of Odin. They got rid of like Loki essentially for now. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And
right.
They, you know, essentially you just have this movie where it's like in 2 seconds that whole storyline we thought might have been there, where it's like, oh, Thor is looking up to him, and it was like, oh, it was over with. As soon as he said that comment, and Thor turned to him and was like, oh, maybe he's not that great. Right. It's like, okay, they clearly get like this is a time crunch. We have Lord the God Butcher. They're not gonna Spider-Man 3, you know, try to work in so many villains and angles. They're setting something else up. This is a scene. It's an important moment. But I will say this about Zeus. Say he's not that all-powerful. Remember, Odin was pretty all-powerful too. I think they're on the same level, in my opinion. But Zeus survived that massive kind of attack from Thor.
Yep. But it was with his own weapon, so there's no telling what connection he has with that weapon itself. You know, like because seeing him in that Easter egg, like at the end, it's like damn, like because you know they're all like Zeus is dead and he's not, you know, so they're and then just seeing, you know, I mean, I'm definitely fast forwarding, but seeing that Easter egg of like in that same scene of like Hercules, it's like it just opens up like so much of the whole God world with that.
Exactly. And then I mean, I don't know if y'all peeped it in that same scene. Hercules, once Zeus says that joke, and then Hercules is right there, like, yeah, Dad.
Yeah.
So I mean, they kind of foreshadowed that. The whole movie was foreshadowed, honestly, within the first 5 scenes.
Truly. We
just didn't understand it fully. I guess to quickly just kind of touch on the thing I kind of opened with. For Lucius' sake, because you know you got to get an Eternals reference in there. I know we all hate the Eternals here.
Not everyone. You can't say everyone.
I know 99.9% of the population hated the Eternals, but I will.
No, they do not. No, they do not.
Okay, 99.9%.
A lot of people liked the Turtles. I wasn't one of them, but a lot of people liked the Turtles.
Were they in this side of the multiverse, or
hate the strong
go watch the Turtles,
I would say.
Yeah, it's important. It's important because now it's important. Now we see the power of these swords that come from the same place. In the comics, you know, Dole, the creator of the symbiotes, of the Venom, essentially, symbiote, alien, extraterrestrial, created them. Like that whole storyline I thought was going to be in this movie. I guess they cut it to kind of add to some kind of Spider-Man storyline or something down the line. I don't know. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But essentially, that's last scene, the post-credit scene in Eternals, that, you know, with that blade popping up. Which we got to talk about one day, Blade popping up like that, because that was kind of crazy. But we gonna let Blade make it because he's Blade. But those two swords are connected. We see how powerful that sword was. You can only imagine how powerful the sword is at the end of the Eternals.
Right.
Taika loves pop culture references.
And you know what? Let me just say this. Like, let me put some respect on Eternals' name. I didn't necessarily like the movie, right? But I think that Eternals hands down has some of the best visual effects, and like hands down has some of the best visual effects that I've seen in a Marvel movie. For real. Like I really do feel that way.
Can I share my opinion?
Shang-Chi was kicking Eternals' ass. We're not going to talk about that.
What?
We didn't watch them blow up Avengers campus and turn it into a whole battlefield. We not finna like that.
Let me say my part.
Go ahead.
First off, in Eternals, let me say, people might hate the movie. People might think like, oh, it didn't work. Oh, it didn't make sense. It didn't add the timeline. one of these movies is gonna lead back to Eternals, and you're gonna be like, oh, that movie, and you're gonna boost your rating up high as ever. You're gonna be like, oh, that all makes sense. This movie is actually good. Second,
I fuck with that,
Lucious.
The
whole scene with the Celestials and everything, like, you cannot say that's Shang-Chi is better than that. Like,
did you see the Celestial in this movie though? It was a real shot in there.
I saw them. It was pretty bad.
So the Celestials, does that mean that they also have gods? Like, I'm so confused by that.
I don't know. The Celestials created the Eternals, which they call themselves gods. Like, we don't know what's yeah, we don't know anything.
To be announced.
It's like we literally just watched the whole movie that was an origin story that gave us nothing. Ain't that? But visual effects, ain't that something?
Wait, who?
The Eternals.
Yes.
No, they did.
Whole movie was a prequel. It was intro to nothing.
And it was in the prequels. It was like prequels within prequels, and I'm like, y'all are doing way too much. I was
gonna say I can say it was hard to introduce 10 new characters within like 5,000 years, but showing it in 10 minutes,
right?
And also introduce deviants and a whole deviant, and then they introduced everything. What were they doing? It was
too much.
It's a whole movie retcon. They're literally redoing everything for the sake of it.
It's like, so y'all don't have to do a second one of these, like, because you pretty much gave us all of this.
Please don't give us a second
one. In this one movie, and I can just go watch it like 10 times.
We need a second.
Harry Styles, I'm sorry. I apologize.
I forgot about him.
Give us a Thanos series, a Thanos prequel series. I know it doesn't really make any sense, but give it to us. That's how we're going to use that Harry Styles contract. Please keep the Eternals far from everything else. We have the X-Men now. We're good.
Bro, the X. Oh my. Okay, let's move
We're good
on.
Off our rebound.
What's next on your list?
Yes. What's next in the notes?
Taika Waititi loves pop culture references. All I was gonna say is, almost fell. All I was gonna say is, Mary J. Blige. That was a crazy scene. We're not even gonna act like that wasn't a crazy scene with them just vibing to Mary J. Blige. That was a live scene. And then of course the Interstellar reference in there. I don't know if you guys caught it.
Yeah. Nice and they were jamming to Sierra too. Like
they were vibing.
They were
vibing. They had good music. In this movie. I mean, but Taika,
I like the sound. I like the soundtrack in this movie. It was really good.
For sure. It was very like 80s hair, like rock,
synthy.
Very like, and then like they had the modern twist, like with the Sierra and like, just those tracks. But like the soundtrack was really good. Like, and what I will say, so like the first 30 minutes of the movie, I was like, oh, so this is a comedy. Like, I literally felt like this movie was a comedy, and like, if you were going for like action, not saying that it wasn't there, but it was more so just like, I felt like out of all the Thors, like out of all the Marvel movies, really, like they always have this sense of comedy, but I felt like this one was like, okay, like, not, I know, and it was like Love and Thunder, like a love story or whatever, but I just felt that it was like a comedy, and not in like rom-com comedy way, just like a straight up comedy.
I have a very, very, very hot take.
Okay.
This is the hottest take. You're not gonna find it anywhere else. First alert. This whole movie, I knew with the Old Spice advertisement, this whole movie was Marvel secretly testing the fourth wall breaking technique for She-Hulk. Just follow me. Follow me down this rabbit hole.
Okay.
They already said that She-Hulk is gonna have fourth wall breaking, which inevitably is gonna lead to Deadpool. Because Deadpool, it has fourth wall breaking.
Right.
Now, here's how we knew. Don't forget that advertisement that just came out a couple months ago with Deadpool and Korg. Remember. Also remember Ryan Reynolds and Taika Waititi just filmed a movie with Stranger Things. Sean Levy, who just filmed 2 movies with Ryan Reynolds, and he's also going to be directing Deadpool 3. They're all really cool. And then remember, a week ago, when Chris Hemsworth said he wants to appear in Deadpool 3. That's all I got.
Man, tie it all together.
I don't see it.
What? I wouldn't be surprised if they were all on set. I wouldn't be surprised if they even filmed Deadpool in this movie somehow. They've been filming him secretly and everything, kind of like how they used to do with Hugh Jackman. Kevin Feige just balls up his paper right now, like, he's giving up all the secrets. Bring him in. Hey, yo, Kevin Feige at the end of this pod, pops up in the side of the room from the shadows like Nick Fury in them early movies. We need to bring you in. There's lots of LGBT representation.
So yes, lots.
Well, can I say something about that though?
Go ahead.
I'm glad that they didn't like throw it at us rather than they hinted it, but like a lot of these Marvel movies or like a lot of these movies lately have been just throwing it at us, just screaming it out like, oh, my mom's, oh, my dad's. I'm like, okay, like, or they'll actually just like show the couple. I'm not like hating on it. I'm not saying like they should not do that, but like I'm saying it's like not the way
Don't
to
force
show
the diversity. Yeah.
Yes.
No, I love how they did like, with Korg and like him just telling his story, and it's like it's really nothing like sexual. It's really just like intimacy, which intimacy doesn't necessarily mean like P and V or PNP or VNV, whatever preferences. It was very much just like a love story, which goes along with the whole theme of the movie, like Love and Thunder. And I loved how they like portrayed that same sex like relationship, but like nothing to do with like what people stereotypically see as like intimacy and love or whatever. Just like really just like, hey, we have a connection and we built this baby like with our hands together, holding it together for a month. Like I thought that was dope how they did it.
Them and Valkyrie, obviously.
Yes.
I think it was but it's crazy. Natalie Portman actually just came out literally like an hour or two ago and just said that it's the gayest movie ever in the MCU, and she's getting some backlash for that.
It said it's the gayest Marvel movie.
Yeah.
See, they never should have brought her back on at all.
Whoa!
What?
Whoa!
Wait, we are talking about Lady. We are talking about Lady Thor, right? That is her name.
Yes.
Oh
okay,
no!
Okay, yeah.
It's the Mighty
Yeah.
Thor. Lucious.
Okay, fine.
No, Lady Thor.
I also got to say something about that, man. Okay, but real quick, what was the reason that she wasn't on Ragnarok? Did she like quit, or did she like not want to do it anymore?
She quit. Her and Marvel had a falling out. So Thor: Dark World was like a very toxic workplace environment, particularly because they originally had Patty Jenkins from Wonder Woman directing it. She was supposed to be director for the trilogy going forward, and her vision, and she kind of, I don't remember if it was specifically because of the action sequences she wanted, and they wanted her to just focus more on the story and not the CGI pretty much. And they just had the creative differences, so she left the project. Well, her and Natalie Portman are really cool, so her leaving the project kind of put a damper on that. It was a toxic work environment. They threw it all together. That's why Idris Elba wanted to leave as well.
So that's why. So like when that. Okay, so I figured that happened. I just needed like a confirmation before I start talking trash that I don't know what I'm talking about. So like I knew that like she was in Ragnarok and stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, so she just definitely left Marvel, whatever. When they released the cast, whatever, for Thor: Love and Thunder, and she came back, I was like, I kind of don't respect her anymore, because like you left Marvel, like you kind of just like left, you kind of just left on a hanger, so they had to do something completely different with Thor, which they did good, bringing Ragnarok around. But then like now that she came back, I was just like, okay, like you don't need to come back. Like it's too late for you now. Like I kind of just like didn't find a spot for her. So like now that she's saying stuff about the movie and stuff, like what was she in the movie for if you were just gonna talk trash about it?
Yeah.
Well, no, she didn't say the gayest like it was like a bad thing. She was just saying it like, just calling it out. Like, yeah, this is
like,
the
hey, this is the most LGBTQIA plus like aware
movie.
Yeah.
Ryan, you got me talking trash. You should have clarified that.
Hey, well, you know what? We can...
No, this is unedited.
The more you know.
Yeah, it might be others
Where's
that think
LeVar
like you
Burton?
that sharing your bad opinions. I'll shoot Natalie Portman some bail. When she was with Marvel Studios the first time, it was still under Ike Perlmutter, who is famous for not wanting to see women in lead roles or people of color. He kind of just wanted to make money and put white men at the forefront. He actually turned down the scripts of Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Black Widow, and so many others that were sitting on ice for years. Until Kevin Feige fought to basically get him out of there. He went to Disney, said it's him or me. They said, we'll separate you two, and that's how you got Marvel TV on Netflix and ABC and stuff, and then Marvel Studios doing their own thing on the film side. Now that Kevin Feige has, reunified everything and got all of them ousted, essentially, from Marvel, people are now more inclined to work with Marvel from, back then, because everyone loves Kevin Feige. So, and then on top of that, Taika from Ragnarok, he actually wanted Natalie Portman in it. It just was like a scheduling thing. And so getting her back was like his top priority going into this movie. And he literally just said it the other day. He wished he could have, had more movies with her. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But we'll save that for the end. In honor of Zeus and his lightning bolt named Thunderbolt. That wasn't very creative. I'm gonna do a lightning round. I'm gonna go through all of my notes in 2 seconds.
Oh shit! Okay, let's go.
Mighty Thor on the horse, a reference to Jane's time as Valkyrie in the comics. Also could be a foreshadow when she comes in on the horse at the end of the movie. That horse is fast, by the way. Mighty Thor is not dead. Jane will return. And the answer is in Moon Knight. If you guys remember Moon Knight, I'm spoiling.
Oh my god!
You ever seen it?
I haven't, but that's my own fault though. That's my own fault. So like, if you gotta spoil it, like let's do it. Let's do it.
It's a baby spoil. It's not a main spoil. It's a baby.
Let's do it for the people. Let's put the pieces together.
So in Moon Knight, which is another one about gods and pantheons, of course, he dies. Mark, our main character, dies. And when he dies, he is welcomed to the main, to the basically the similar Valhalla, but, for the Egyptian gods. Okay. And he's in the field of reeds, and he chooses to turn around and go back to Earth and come back. So, and there is precedence for this in the comics where she does die and come back after she's Mighty Thor. She comes back as Valkyrie going forward. So we'll see if that is set up, and that's what they're doing with that post-credit scene. Yeah. Zeus is hard to kill. He must be on an Odin level. I said it earlier. He must be like an Odin type level god. Consider he's been living longer than probably all of the other gods, maybe even some Celestials. He mentions it when he's talking to Thor about those are lower level gods. That's the first time we ever hear that there's levels to this godliness. Yeah.
Hey,
big god. It's big god in the streets. The whole movie is foreshadowed explaining Valhalla and how it works. The Sith, Thor with love, talking about love with Star-Lord in the beginning, and then love turning out to be an actual physical person. I think they did that intentionally to make it more enjoyable for audience members, so they don't have to do the whole Loki episode 6 thing where they're explaining for 30 minutes, because there's no way people are going to understand it any other way. They found a creative way to work it in. Shout out to Taika. Thor has plenty of children in the comics, but there's no precedence for him having an adopted daughter named Love, meaning that they're off script. They're off book. They're creating now. So we'll see where that goes going into Thor 5. The meaning of the film's title, Love and Thunder, is a setup for Thor and Love's ending. Because Thor ends up with his adopted daughter, Love, who he gets from Gore the God Butcher. Her name is actually Love, so it's Thor, Love, and Thunder, the two things that he has, Love and Thunder. Because remember, he leaves with the Thunderbolt, with a lightning bolt named Thunder. So he literally leaves with Love and Thunder. He goes in with Love and... Come on, man. Come on, man. You gotta... Come on, man. The return of important post-credit scenes, though this one feels like a little bit more of like the Guardian scene, that last post-credit scene with Hercules. It reminded me of, I don't know if you guys remember Guardians 2, which feels like so many years ago at this point. You remember when they introduced the idea of Adam, and we haven't seen him since ever. It just failed. We never saw Adam. I think he might be in probably Guardians 3, but that's gonna be a million years after the fact. So that's how this one feels. We don't know when the next Thor is coming or how. So it just feels like it's gonna sit for years, and we're never gonna, figure out what's going on with it. MCU has a lot of post-credit scenes like that, surprisingly, that they still have to kind of make up for. And the last thing from my lightning section, Matt Damon is back, and he's annoying. And then they brought Melissa McCarthy into the MCU. Oh my gosh.
They brought a lot of people into the MCU.
That play was hilarious.
I thought it was funny as fuck.
Because in Ragnarok I was laughing, but this one, as soon as I started seeing them act, I was like, "Oh, here we go again. There's another play." And this one was funnier.
When the hammer, when they have the hammer like going towards, like, I was laughing so hard. Like,
how slow. I was laughing because I was trying to see who Hela was, and as soon as she ripped through, I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I did not expect her.
Do you guys feel like they were kind of like clickbaiting it a little bit because clearly that's not how the story ended, and therefore they were forcing people to come back to watch it again for whatever the next story was going to be? Or how do you guys feel about that? Because ending that play with Hela breaking the hammer is crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
Wait, what's your question?
Do you guys feel like they were ripping people off with that play by forcing them to come back to see the rest of the scenes? Because we all know that's not how the story ended.
I don't know.
I mean, maybe because they made it into a tourist island, and they made it a point to say that in the movie, like, so maybe it was a tactic for them to have people like come back, and people are definitely going to come back after everything that happened. Okay, can I just say this? Because I was going to ask you guys before I say this, like, what was one of your favorite scenes from the movie?
Young Avengers.
Me too. That's what the young Thors.
Mm-hmm.
The young.
I didn't like that part.
What? Okay.
All right.
Okay. Is it kind of because it was kind of like Spy Kidsy or something like that?
I kind of felt like it was just like a Spy Kids type thing, and I was just like, okay, this is kind of cheesy.
A little too absurd for you?
I mean, it was definitely cheesy. It was definitely cheesy. The only reason why I liked it is because I like the potential of what it can bring to Thor. Because seeing Thor be able to be like, "Hey, activate," to this army.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, oh my god, he got, ever since Odin died, he started to show he's, you know what I mean? He's big Thor now.
I don't think that's Thor's powers though. I think that's Zeus's power from his bolt that he can't transfer.
True.
That's not Thor's.
True.
Okay.
True.
So Zeus is able to do that because he had the bullet. Because he didn't even have Stormbreaker on him. So
okay.
True.
Well, we need to see what the
catalyst.
We need to see what the catalyst is though. We need to see it does look yellow, so it's definitely a Zeus like trait. But maybe Thor was the catalyst for that. Like, can Zeus do that?
I was gonna say maybe it's like what you wish. How like when you use the Infinity War or like the Infinity Gauntlet, you wish to have something, so you do it. But like I think with the ball, it's like whatever power you want.
They clearly established that these like Mjolnir and Stormbreaker are sentient beings in of themselves who can think and operate, and attach themselves to people. So I mean, maybe that's what it is. Like they could talk to them and wish for more powerful things, kind of like the Infinity Stones.
Can we mention the fact that now we have Stormbreaker and Mjolnir back? Because I'm not a fan of that.
Why?
Because now Thor is not even using Stormbreaker anymore, which is way better than Mjolnir. But like now that he's using it again, it's just like now it's like, what was the whole point of like? I feel like his whole Infinity War entrance was just pointless now. Like that was Thor, and then now we got okay, we got old Thor with the old hammer.
But he has a new hammer though. The hammer is not just the hammer; it's pieces of that fucking sword too.
That is true, but Stormbreaker is still better, and it's like I feel like Stormbreaker is like, I don't know, the whole team up they did in Infinity War when Groot gave him the handle and stuff, like they all work as a team
that was a powerful
to get Thor to where
that was a powerful moment.
He needed to be. And now
that was my question too. How long has that been the key to the the eternity?
Right, the port, like, to everything, like.
And why didn't Thor just wish? Was it like a one wish for everybody in the entire universe thing? Like, why didn't he just wish to get Jane cured?
Right, because I was okay. Did you? I don't know. This may be like, because I noticed this. Okay, whenever it was them three and they're in like that water land where you like do the wish, and like Christian Bale was like asking like for basically for his daughter to come back or whatever like that. Did y'all see like whenever it went to Jane and like she was laying on the ground, because at first it's like horns, but whenever Jane was laying on the ground, the shadow of that being that he was like asking for his wish for, the top of it, instead of it being horns, it turned to like a woman's head with her hair blowing.
I'm not being held at some point right now by a certain Marvel executive that's name rhymes with Seven Feige. But if I was not, I would say I don't know what Jessica is speaking about. I didn't notice it.
Okay. Are you talking about Christian Bale laying and on the water's like reflection you can see a black figure that looks like his daughter?
No. It didn't look like his daughter. Well, maybe that was his daughter.
It was a black figure walking towards him, and when the camera moved up, it was his daughter.
Well, no. It was the whatever figure. Remember, whenever Christian Bale is like there, his character, he's like, that's where they're trying to get to through that gate. Like, they get there, and it's like this figure, and it's a galaxy within the figure, but it has horns.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever he's like asking for whatever his wishes, whenever it flashes over to Jane with the reflection in the water, that figure is no longer like with the horns. It's a woman with her hair blowing, but it's still it still has a galaxy in the inside of it.
You might have to go to the comics. Eternity might be a woman. I think Eternity is a woman though.
I would have to rewatch that.
That's what I'm saying.
I noticed that, and I was like, why did that turn like that? And I don't know the comics, so like I wouldn't be able to pull from that. But I was just wondering because I saw that change in the figure.
Yeah. Also, Ryan, 101, you're gonna kind of have to explain to me the whole like eternity and the like that whole thing.
It's like a universal thing, and then it's a multiversal thing. They're introducing more of those because they're just setting up Secret Wars, which is basically like the ultimate like Avengers level event. Like it's gonna be a multi-level. Like it's gonna be really big. It's gonna be really confusing too. Like easily. It's gonna take them 15 movies to explain it. There's no way. You thought the Infinity Wars was hard to explain? Secret Wars is super hard. Wait till you see 5 Spider-Man fighting each other for the death, like to the death.
So, can I send my list of nitpicks that I didn't like in this movie?
Let's go.
Yes.
All right. Don't hate me, especially the fans.
We can't. So, we're here to feel shitty.
So, very funny. All right. So first, there was some bad acting. I can say that.
Who was the worst? Who was your standout bad actor?
Jane was kind of cocky. I was like, all right, I'd let her have her little Mighty Thor moment or whatever. But when she was fighting Gore and she's over there, it's Mighty Thor, eat my hammer. I literally covered my eyes. I wanted to walk out of the theater.
You had secondhand embarrassment?
I felt the embarrassment. I literally felt like everybody was like, this is your favorite movie? Like, I felt so dumb watching.
Is this your king?
So I was like, ooh, like they got to cut that out with her. I was like, ooh, she's okay. She's too cocky at that point. So I was like, I'll let it slide. Though I'll let it slide. Third reason, I do not. Just the same reason why I don't like Doctor Strange anymore, because his third eye. I don't find Thor as really Thor now that he has like a daughter. I don't like the whole daughter.
So that was like another thing that people brought up was like how the MCU is kind of like really focused on parenting and parent-child relationships now, and no one knows why. But yeah, you think about every single show, it's parent-child relationship.
But like,
Young Adventures coming soon.
Even when you think about it, though, like Tony Stark, since he was with Pepper, he's been talking about having a kid, but Pepper doesn't want him to have a kid because
he had a kid already.
Then you exactly. But then now you have you Captain America. He always wanted to be with Peggy or whatever, and like that was his whole dream. Thor never really had a set goal that he wanted in life. Now they just threw us with a kid, and he's like, oh, now I want to be a dad. Where did that come from?
They did talk about this. So like they talked about this. It was alluded to in Ragnarok, and then it was touched upon in Thor Dark World, but they like kind of gave a little refresher when they went back and Korg explained their little relationship. Thor actually did want a kid.
Are you talking about when Korg was re-explaining the entire relationship between them two?
Yeah, like the ending of it.
So like, but like, I feel like you can't just do that randomly. You can't just say at one time you want a kid because we don't know how much Thor wanted a kid and how long he wanted a kid. And because you said it, I feel like they added it in there so that he can be a dad at the end of the movie, which I didn't like.
And they give us that Young Avengers, Young Thor, Young Asgardian scene where, it was like, oh, I can see Thor fighting with, kids. So it was like, okay, well, get Thor fighting with, and that one kid, Himdall's son, he hit that Thor move. We're not going to act like he didn't hit that Thor move.
It was cool.
He did.
But I think that was to set up, basically Thor with his new adopted daughter. And they're, fighting. So but they actually allude to it in that first Thor movie too, when Odin basically told Thor like you're acting like a child, like you will never, So they allude to it. They allude to it a little bit, not really, but really. I'm retconning.
So that was what was that? My third or fourth reason? I think that was my third or fourth.
Yeah, your third.
Okay, my third. My fourth. Let me think. What was that? Oh, well, it was the whole Mjolnir and Stormbreaker thing. I didn't want him to have Mjolnir back. So that was my fourth reason. Fifth reason, I don't think I had a fifth reason. Oh, it was just Zeus. That was it. I didn't hate it. It was just like those are parts of the movies where I'm just like I'm not seeing where this is coming from. Like, you've been making movies for 11 years now and nothing has ever mentioned about it, and it just randomly comes up.
I think they had to figure out where to work it in.
Like Heimdall, he had a 12-year-old son, and we didn't know that since what day? It's just like
that was kind of random.
It just came out of it's like things that just came out of nowhere. That's why I felt like this movie was a good movie, but I felt like it was just like a movie where they just had to throw some stuff in there to make the movie. But
you gotta remember also, Heimdall, this movie is not set in 2020. This movie is set in like 2027 or something like that.
Yeah, I know.
So technically Heimdall died in like 2018. So it makes sense that he might have had a 2-year-old or something like that,
Which makes his death more messed up because he just had a baby and he died.
Yeah, like that's really not his son for real. Like it is biologically, but he really wasn't around for like his life. Like we didn't already been through Thanos, a blip, you know what I mean? Like his son is kind of grown up through everything. So come on, Lucious, man, shoot them some bail, man. He don't got his dad.
But what I can see in the future though is making the perfect Thor movie by bringing pretty much everybody that Thor has lost back into its like original like Thor like group, I guess. Everybody coming back to the last Thor movie and going all up. I feel like that would be a good time.
I don't see them ever stopping Thor.
I don't care about Loki, except Loki.
You want Loki back in the MCU?
I don't like Loki.
I love
Wow.
I love the RIP Loki tattoo on the back of Thor.
Oh yeah, that was a good addition.
I didn't even. Oh yeah, I did see that. Yeah. I was
That
just
was definitely
surprised
good.
they just showed his butt, and I was like, oh okay, I guess there's nudity in these movies now.
I'm just gonna say, like, I'm excited to see what now that Thor has his hammer back. Like, and now that it
That was
has
a crazy segue. Thor naked to now Thor has his hammer back. Whoa.
I mean,
Whoa.
say goo.
That love and thunder,
huh? No, I'm interested to see, like, now that the necro sword is incorporated into the hammer. I'm excited to see what that looks like in the coming movies.
Who's gonna wield all that stuff though? Like Thor has 3 weapons now.
That's what I'm saying. Like, keep
I'm a,
one.
I mean, and Zeus is obviously alive still, so like I'm interested to
Coming
see,
for the lightning
like,
bolt.
yes, with Hercules.
Hercules.
See, but like now, I feel like it's just like Guardians 2. Like now Zeus's motive is just to get his lightning bolt back. Like just like in Guardians 2, they stole batteries, so the girl created Adam Warlock just to get her revenge back. Like that, it's just like a dumb motive. So I feel like Zeus
That's
needs
what I
more.
said. Literally, that's what I said. Like it felt like that whole like plot at the end felt just like that. Like, oh, we're creating Adam and we're coming after him. But you know what? James Gunn got fired after that, remember? So I think that's kind of why we never got more on that storyline at the time.
But isn't he coming back?
He's coming back now, but remember, Guardian, we would have been got Guardians before in-game, technically.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's kind of why they were like, yeah, maybe. I think it worked out for the best, honestly. But the next Guardians is the last one of that current group.
Great.
It was kind of sad seeing them without Gamora. It felt kind of empty. They didn't really feel like the Guardians in this movie.
True.
They were kind of nerfed. I just learned that term like 2 weeks ago.
No one says that.
For real? Not in real life?
I've never heard anyone say nerfed.
Really? Like you know what it means though? Like you know, like you were nerfed, like you were basically like a Nerf gun. Like, you know, like there's a real gun and a Nerf gun, like you were nerfed, like you were basically depowered.
No.
Okay.
Have you heard of it's not even a word though, but it's like, have you heard what a chiefer is?
No, what is that?
It's just a vape.
That's
it. That's what they call it. So like it mostly just started like with all these like juniors and seniors now, but they'll be like, oh hey, let me hit your chiefer, and I'm just like, what?
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Well, it's better than being nerfed.
No, they nerfed that.
Oh my gosh.
What are you guys' final thoughts on it all? Are you guys excited for the next movie? I mean, they didn't really set up anything else officially.
Truly, they did not set up anything, but I feel like they set up a lot. You know, like Marvel just kind of has that way of just pulling you, like you watch something and you're like, oh, I didn't even know this is going to relate back to this. So I feel like there's kind of that mystery there, which I enjoy. And I feel like, you know, these movies always tie in some kind of way to something. So I'm excited to see where it ties in, if it even does at all. So we'll see.
You know it is.
I
the
know.
movies are getting better. Okay, they're getting better. They're getting better. Spider-Man was great.
Ashley was just talking about that though. I'm literally thinking of all the end credit scenes from all the movies since Phase 4, and none of them relate. We got Shang-Chi, who there's a signal calling with the rings that we don't even know what's calling to. We got Black Knight and Blade, and then we have Harry Styles coming as saying, oh, he knows where Cersei, Kingo, and them are with the Celestials. Right. And then we got pretty much Doctor Strange, who just met this stranger and cut a portal open, and they just went into the Dormammu universe. And then now we got Spider-Man, who I forgot his name.
Swinging off, not to MIT.
Yep.
So swinging off ambiguously.
And then now you got Zeus trying to get his lightning bolt back
with Hercules.
Yeah, that it's just like none of this makes sense.
And Jane is
got,
at Valhalla is with the gods.
yes,
So-
like we have gods, we got gods, celestials, spider crawling creatures, universes.
And then you have the multiverse. So it's just
no, the multiverse, the incursion.
This is gonna be probably the craziest phase.
We just literally had all the you got to count the TV shows as well. Miss Marvel is still going. Miss Marvel's a good show too.
Yeah, I watched the first episode, but I gotta watch Moon Knight before I finish Miss Marvel. I do.
I only got to episode 2 with Miss Marvel. I fell asleep on it.
Oh, it gets better. Yeah, it was pretty good, but they were going for something different. It was like a teen drama. It was like Lizzie McGuire in the MCU.
Ew.
It's Lizzie McGuire. It's Lizzie MCU.
Okay, I'm probably not gonna finish.
No, I mean, if you plan on watching like the next the Marvels, the Captain Marvel sequel, you gotta finish it.
Well, I gotta stop slacking because I've been slacking on these like little Disney shows, like these little 6-showers. And they've been fucking me up. Like whenever I go to the movies, I'm like, damn, I should have paid attention.
I'm telling you.
Which ones haven't you finished?
Okay, so I went and saw Doctor Strange without finishing WandaVision, which I was like, what the fuck? Like it was a crime. Like
I told you.
I played myself for real because I was like, bitch, you.
Oh wait, you said you went into Doctor Strange without finishing WandaVision?
Yes.
Oh yeah, you messed up.
Yeah, I played myself. Like for real.
They should have. To be fair, they shouldn't have said it was a Doctor Strange movie because he was super nerfed in that movie.
It was literally WandaVision season 2.
Like he was super nerfed.
Yeah, it seemed like really the only thing that you got from like Doctor Strange was like him with that chick and like him with that girl or whatever, and then him getting that third eye, but most like it was pretty much a WandaVision.
He fell in love. Don't do that. He fell in love with his multiversal fiance, and he found peace, and he kind of got a little adopted daughter from song.
But it was mostly a show about fucking Scarlet Witch and fucking Wanda, so I was like, man, I should have watched WandaVision.
It was just WandaVision without the vision.
Did you guys have a commentary about Doctor Strange or no?
No, we didn't do it in time.
We didn't.
Oh, okay. I have a lot to say about that movie.
So the good news is Doctor Strange is coming back, or he will be back. I'm tired of Marvel doing that in the movies. But I liked it on this one because which Thor are they talking about?
Hey, you want to know something? My friend and we were laughing because this is so true. After every end credit scene, when it says like this person will return or whatever, we can all read those 3 words that says Thor will return. You got the people in the crowd like Thor will return. I'm like, I know that. So we were just sitting there laughing because like everybody freaking like reads it out loud and it's just funny. And we were just saying
when I saw Doctor Strange, I saw it at like 11:30. I saw the last showing on opening night, and everybody was asleep. Like Mr. Fantastic pops on screen. I knew at that moment when Mr. Fantastic pops on screen, everyone didn't go wow. Because Marvel movies now they like know that like they're doing these fan servicey things, so they just leave in that little extra like space in dialogue for people to literally like pause when someone walks on screen like it's a sitcom. And when it was just straight silence in the entire theater, I was like, wow. When they were like, and the smartest man in the world, Mr. Fantastic, whatever his name is. What is his name? Reed Richards. And he popped on screen. It was like, I got up in the theater like, is no one going? Nah, this. All right.
All right, cool.
It definitely depends on what crowd.
Go ahead, Reed.
It definitely depends on your crowd. That's why I always choose like the most busiest theater, like the one that mostly everybody goes to for opening nights, and then I choose a time where everybody is like flexible with that because it's a Thursday. I'm sure people have work Wednesday or Friday, so I usually do like a 9 or 8 o'clock showing. Because ain't nobody goes
in the theater, especially for Marvel movies. I like to be in a crowded theater. I like to be with people that's going to cheer with me.
Exactly. Yeah, me too.
The Endgame was beautiful. Oh, that was a beautiful experience.
Endgame, everybody's jumping out their seats.
Oh man, that was like literally like an emotional roller coaster for everybody.
That's why I can say that Endgame was probably first, that is my favorite movie, but I can say like that is the best theater experience I've ever had in the theaters.
Agreed.
And I don't think anything will. I mean, Spider-Man came close, but nowhere near close.
It can't possibly come as close because the stakes weren't as high as Endgame.
That's what I'm saying.
Like Endgame, I saw it in such a large theater. It was like a stadium type theater. We had to wait like 30 minutes just to get inside. It was a super long line. Like we were waiting on Jordans. And literally our seats are all the way at the bottom. We had to wait upstairs and then walk down into the theater through the stairs. It was crazy. Endgame is amazing. The only thing I hate about certain movies that are really great, so I know movies are really great. If I have to use the bathroom in between the movie and I have to pick which scene I'm going to miss a little bit, it's a great movie.
Yeah.
That means I've been there a long time that, I'm enjoying this.
Right.
And I had to for Endgame. Like when they had that scene where they destroyed the Avengers compound, I missed that initially. Tobey Maguire popping up in Spider-Man, missed it. This movie I even missed a scene. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, yeah.
You're a fake fan for missing that.
Yeah, it's the bathroom break test for me.
Yeah,
I'm excited for where they're gonna go though.
Yeah, same.
I don't know where.
Who knows? Who knows? There's literally infinite possibilities. So just gotta enjoy the ride.
But if you want to continue the Shang-Chi journey, I highly suggest you watch Ms. Marvel. It is connected.
Okay, because I do want to continue the Shang-Chi journey because I enjoyed it.
Is the same thing. The bangle that she has there is the same thing as the things. What do you call them? The 10 rings.
Bet, say less.
Okay, well, stop spoiling it.
Oh, that's not even a spoil at this point. I think that was in the trailer. Lucious is like, nah, not budging. You probably will love it though. I mean, how'd you feel about Moon Knight?
I like Moon Knight. It was really good. I'd probably say my second favorite show.
Oh,
it's ranked number 2 on fans. Yeah, it's ranked number 2. Is the outside of Loki.
No. I don't know. I kind of like the hype of WandaVision, so that's kind of still my number 1. And then it goes Moon Knight, and then it goes The Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then it goes
Hawkeye,
and then Loki.
They have Hawkeye at the bottom. Like this is what most fans voted. Hawkeye is the least, and the views actually account for this as well. Hawkeye is the lowest viewed, and it's the least popular. Then they have Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision, Moon Knight, and then Loki. Thus far.
I can't really judge because I haven't watched WandaVision or Moon Knight. So, and I didn't watch let's be real. I didn't watch the Captain America stuff because Captain America is probably my least favorite. So that was
the one you could miss the most. I'm gonna be honest with you.
No. First of all, it has a lot to deal with politics and stuff based on the world we live in right now, which I suggest you watching it because it relates. But at the same time, they could.
That's the only one they did right, where it was like, okay, you probably didn't have to see this to understand what's going on going forward. Like that was the only one where their promise of you didn't have to see the shows to watch the movies, it actually is true. Because they actually cut his scene. He was in Far From Home originally as the post-credit scene. He actually pops up at the end like, hey, Spider-Man, you need any help? With the suit on and everything. So it was
so like
connected.
it's gonna leave something you just don't know yet. So I suggest.
Oh no, they announced Captain America 4.
Oh, okay, exactly. So she has to watch it, but you just said it's pointless of watching it.
Okay.
It's pretty much Captain America. It's pretty much Sam Wilson's origin story for his Captain America.
Okay.
Yeah, like you wouldn't but then again, remember, technically, people wouldn't be like. I feel like how they left off Endgame with having like him getting the shield. I feel like you wouldn't be as surprised to just see him as Captain. Like it would be way worse for like WandaVision or Doctor Strange or something else like that. But you watch it all.
I need to just watch all of them just so I can be in the know of anything because I want to be ready. I want to be ready for whatever
Oh, it's
comes
gonna
my
start
way.
getting super confusing if you
Right. That's
don't.
why I'm like, I have to like watch all of them because I already got caught slipping on one movie and I don't want to be caught in the dark like that no more. So I got
What's the next movie? Black Panther?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you do gotta watch Captain America
Yeah.
before going into
Yeah.
Falcon and the Soldier before going into Black
Yeah.
Panther.
Yeah, I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna spend a weekend and I have a week off like coming up at the end of the month. So I'm just gonna spend a couple of days binging all the stuff that I have not watched.
Shouldn't we begin the trailer for Black Panther pretty soon?
Yes, I think they released some footage obviously in that little sizzle reel, but I think, and I'm gonna spoil the trailer a little bit.
Don't. Don't.
Not the Bryson Tiller. All right, I won't spoil it.
Don't.
I won't spoil everything. It's okay. It's okay.
I want all surprises because I have no clue what they're doing with this movie.
Oh, you're gonna love it too. You're gonna love it. You don't even know you're gonna love it, but you're gonna love it.
We'll see.
Ooh, can I throw a hint out there?
Are the Eternals in there?
No.
What's your hint?
Jason Momoa.
Oh, I already know about the villain. It's just I don't want to see. I don't want to hear about who it is and what's the everything.
Oh, okay. They did just say the movie was like a love letter to Chadwick Boseman, though. So that's the good thing.
Unless he's not replaced.
Oh, they thought about that idea, and I'm glad they didn't go with it. I'm glad that just fell on.
If they would have replaced him, that would have been. I feel like that movie would have got probably be the most like. What would you call that?
That would be the biggest flop in Marvel history.
Yeah.
Like it'd be Eternals, and then it would be just a little bit above
that. You didn't have to mention Eternals. Oh my gosh.
Are we counting the Sony stuff?
Oh, please don't.
But that's all I gotta say on Thor.
Yes.
Any closing thoughts, guys? Lucious?
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts?
Oh, I did not hear that question. No, I'm just curious to see where everything's gonna go.
All right. Well, this audio commentary. We'll be back, or we'll return.